Whether you are into survival horror, medieval co-op madness, open-world RPGs, or just want to play as a giant sword-wielding rooster destroying armies, there is something on this list for you. These are the 10 most exciting upcoming PC games you need to have on your radar right now. Let's count them down. Kicking off the list is a game that horror fans thought was dead and buried. Remothered. Red Nun's Legacy was just announced on March 12, 2026 at the Future Games Show Spring Showcase, and it is the third and final chapter in the Remothered survival horror trilogy. You play as Susan, a desperate mother who receives a mysterious recording suggesting her missing daughter might still be alive. That trail leads her to a decaying noble residence on the slopes of Mount Etna in Sicily, now owned by the shadowy Ashman family 13 months after 6 young girls vanished from the area. The studio behind it, Stormind Games, said they returned to the series because they could not accept seeing it fade away after fans assumed it had been abandoned. New mechanics include hypnosis-based abilities that let you read objects, reveal forgotten memories, and expose hidden passages. Stalkers hunt you through the convent, and you survive through stealth, evasion, and critical counterattacks. Think old-school Resident Evil and Silent Hill atmosphere updated for today. Coming to PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and PC in 2026. This one is already in early access on Steam, and it is genuinely one of the most satisfying movement shooters you can play right now. Get to the Orange Door was built entirely by one person, one Australian developer named Andrew Smith, who has been updating and expanding this game since 2019. The concept is simple. You dash, wall run, and slide through neon-lit procedurally generated levels to reach the orange door at the end of each stage. But what makes it special is the feel. Players and critics keep comparing the movement to Titanfall 2, which is one of the highest compliments you can give a first-person shooter. The roguelike loop adds over 30 weapons, karma blessings and curses, boss fights, and a synthwave aesthetic that makes every run feel completely different. It is currently sitting at a very positive rating from over 3,200 Steam reviews. If you are sleeping on this one, you are missing out. It is available right now. For fans of Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, this one is going to hit incredibly hard. Fatekeeper is a first-person action RPG developed by Paraglacial, a studio made up of former Grimlore Games developers and published by THQ Nordic. You play as a druid from an ancient order tasked with restoring balance to a cataclysm-ravaged dark fantasy world. The combat system is built around physics-based first-person melee, swords, spells, alchemy, and environmental kills. You can kick enemies off ledges, craft bombs, and build your character across 3 different paths covering strength, agility, and sorcery. The team specifically cited Dark Messiah as their biggest inspiration, and the gameplay footage backs that up completely. Everything looks weighty, reactive, and satisfying in that exact way that Dark Messiah was. And unlike a lot of modern games in this space, there is no Souls-like deathloop here, and this is a dungeon crawler arcade slasher with genuine RPG depth. Early access launches on Steam sometime in 2026. The team behind this game worked on Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 at Rockstar North, before forming their own studio. And with Ritual Tides, they are building something that looks like nothing else releasing this year. This is a first-person Lovecraftian survival horror game set in the 1800s on a remote, abandoned British island called Hortus. You wash up on the shore with no explanation and no hand-holding. The island is full of gruesomely designed enemies and cosmic horror that builds slowly and relentlessly. The developers describe it as Silent Hill meets rural England, and honestly, that description is perfect. Built on Unreal Engine 5 with near photorealistic visuals, this one has a real chance at being one of the most atmospheric horror experiences of 2026. Coming to PC and all major consoles sometime this year. No exact date confirmed yet, but it is one to watch very closely. Free-to-play, tactical, asymmetric, PvP horror. That combination sounds like it should not work. And then you actually watch the gameplay footage and realize this could be genuinely special. Project Spectrum is developed by Team Jade, a studio under Tencent's Teamy Group, the same organization behind Delta Force and Honor of Kings. Players enter reality warping areas called Ember Zones, where a supernatural force called the Ember is actively twisting the environment, the landscape, and the creatures living in it. You are fighting monsters, rival operators, and potentially a player-controlled executioner all at the same time, all while managing a sanity system that causes hallucinations the further you push in. The comparisons being made are Hunt Showdown meets Rainbow Six Siege meets Silent Hill. That is not a bad combination at all. Announced at Gamescom 2025 opening night live. PC only so far. No release date yet, but recent 2026 demos have shown extended gameplay in the full Ember zones, and it is looking very promising. Taking inspiration from one of the greatest literary works ever written is either a very bold move or a very bad one, depending on how you execute it. Italian studio Jama Games is executing it. La Divina Commedia is a dark fantasy action RPG inspired by Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. You play as a warrior poet descending through the circles of hell, fighting grotesque demons, looting procedurally generated extraction dungeons, and making moral choices tied to the 7 deadly sins alignment system. The combat is hack and slash with diverse weapon classes, each carrying unique mechanics, and every dungeon run is different thanks to the procedural generation layer underneath. The studio behind it, Jama Games, previously made Anotria, The Last Song, a Souls-like RPG built around Italian folklore, so they know this territory. The reveal trailer from Gamescom 2025 showed off genuinely impressive boss fights and stylized hell realms that felt unlike anything else announced that year. Currently on Steam wishlist with no release date set yet. Grotesque. That is the word that keeps appearing in every single piece of coverage about this game, and that is meant as a compliment. Kaiden is a third-person melee extraction action game set in a nightmarish Japanese dark fantasy world corrupted by cosmic horror. You are fighting yokai, akuma, multi-limbed demons, and creatures that look like they came directly from someone's worst fever dream. The combat features visceral swordplay, dismemberment, and a descent into madness that builds throughout each run. Developed by UK studio Fifth Column Studio and revealed at Gamescom 2025 during the Future Games show, early impressions called it nothing short of grotesque in a good way. There is a free Steam demo available right now if you want to try it before committing. Coming to PC via Steam with no firm date yet, but sitting in 2026. Solo and co-op both supported. If you like Japanese dark fantasy horror and brutal melee combat, this is absolutely one to wishlist immediately. 2 developers, a bedroom, a vision, 1.5 million Steam wishlists, and a publishing deal with the creators of Dead by Daylight. The story of how Blight, survival got here is already one of the best underdog stories in gaming right now. Hanier studio founders Mads Christensen and Ulrich started posting early Unreal Engine 5 footage of their medieval zombie survival game on social media. It went completely viral. Behavior Interactive signed on as publisher. The team grew from 2 people to dozens, and the game kept getting better. Up to 4 players drop into plague-ravaged medieval environments as Withens, outcast mercenary knights, to scavenge resources, fight blighted monsters and bandits, and extract safely. Die and you lose your gear. But your bloodline carries on. The directional physics-based combat system draws comparisons to Dark Souls meets Mount and Blade, with parries, grapples, armor gap exploitation, and brutal finishing moves. The Bellower, an enemy that screams to summon more infected to your position, is already one of the most talked about enemy designs shown so far. No firm release date, but actively in playtesting in 2026. When this game was revealed at PlayStation State of Play in February 2026, the internet did not know how to react. And then 3/4 of the trailer had played and everyone was completely in. Project Windless is an open-world action RPG from Crafton Montreal Studio. The team led by Patrick Mathay, who directed Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 at Ubisoft. It is set in the universe of the acclaimed Korean fantasy novel series, The Bird That Drinks Tears, described by some as the Korean Lord of the Rings, taking place 1,500 years before the novels in a mythical age of war and legend. You play as a recon, a massive humanoid bird warrior with twin star-forged blades, fighting through hordes of enemies in real-time battles involving thousands of soldiers. Dynasty Warrior-style mass combat meets God of War boss design meets open-world player agency. The memes wrote themselves when people first saw the protagonist, a giant sword chicken, have foghorn, leghorn, Dynasty Warriors. But the combat footage shut everyone up immediately. This looks genuinely spectacular. Confirmed for PS5 and PC. No release date yet. Every single entry on this list has been genuinely exciting. But the game sitting at number 1 is the one that I personally cannot stop thinking about. Zoopunk is a 3-dimensional action RPG prequel to FIST, forged in Shadow Torch. Developed by Thai Games, the Shanghai-based studio whose last game sold over 1 million copies and won Best Debut Indie Game at the Game Awards. This is their follow-up, and they went bigger in every possible direction. Set in Torch City, a dieselpunk metropolis built around animal factions, an unstable energy source called Fireseed has just woken up an army of self-aware war machines that are now fighting to form their own mechanical empire. Every animal faction in the city that was previously at each other's throats has to put aside everything and unite or get wiped out. 3 playable heroes, Rayton the agile rabbit melee fighter, Trixie the acrobatic chipmunk, and Bratton the rhino with a flaming sword, each bringing completely different combat styles. Fast-paced combo, heavy third-person action built on Unreal Engine 5, with NVIDIA Ace-powering dynamic NPC interactions. The philosophical question at the heart of the story is genuinely interesting. Can machines have souls? Are living beings inherently superior to the machines they build? And does any of that matter when the machines are actively trying to kill everyone? Revealed at Xbox Partner Preview 2025 and playable at Tokyo Game Show 2025. Coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC in 2027. It is the furthest out game on this list, but it is also the one that has stayed in my head the longest. So that is the list. 10 games, 10 completely different experiences, all coming soon to PC. From a solo dev parkour shooter to a giant rooster destroying armies in a Korean fantasy epic, 2026 and 2027 are shaping up to be incredible years for gaming. Which one are you most excited for? Drop a comment and let me know. If this list helped you find something new to wishlist, smash that like button and subscribe because we are covering every single one of these games as new information drops. I will catch you in the next one.